this is Thrand.
This is Eldgrimr.
And today we're addressing Mythbusters Season 6, Episode 5, Viewer Special 2, where they covered
The ancient arrow test that was performed by Jamie Heineman
and Adam Savage.
Right.
Who was dressed up just like
a caveman.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But what the episode was about was a sharpened stick. Using a sharpened stick, was it worth the time it was to make a arrowhead compared to a sharpened stick? And a sharpened stick would be a lot quicker to make than an actual stone arrowhead, like our ancestors. So the idea is they wanted to see if they were...
Well, was production time worth it?
Right.
What's faster? What does more damage? What's worth having?
Right, and what shocked me in the whole thing is the conclusion was that the bird point they used, not a large head like for hunting large game, wasn't very much bigger in wound size, and therefore it went maybe I say about an inch
deeper. That's what they came to, was an inch deeper.
Right. That what they came up with is that it really wasn't worth the time. And I'm sitting there going, it seems like they'd realized that a puncture wound, as something that's such a sharp stick, sealing a hole up as it goes in and stretching the skin, would, in my mind, not anywhere be the same as being cut by
Right, so our hypothesis is that the arrowhead is worth the time to make if you're using it on the right type of game. A small point like this one is more for
rabbits,
small game.
Like so you don't want to tear a lot of meat up.
Right.
Maybe a goose or something.
This one that I handmade has more mass, and that one's designed to hunt larger game.
Right, and the way I believe on this is also theirs had less mass on the
so it won't travel as deep into the meat.
Right, I think they would have got even better penetration if they would have used
I think the mass is going to have more inertial force to carry it in.
Technically, I don't think it would travel as far, like in distance.
No, but I think traveling through
the distance you should be shooting at, it would have more carry-through power.
I think so, yeah. Right. I think we'll see that. I really do.
And that was the point we saw. They used a very small head, and they came up with that it wasn't worth the time, and I couldn't understand that. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think when we get outside and we check this out, I think we're going to find that our hypothesis is true. There's going to be more bleed. I think we're going to see that the only way put your finger in a dike when you use this sharpened stick.
I think that a stick also, if it hits a bone, will splinter the arrow and not cause the same kind of damage. It can push arteries and veins out of the way, unless you got it straight through the heart, and even then it might plug the heart, or through the spine somehow, or the brain, which I don't see how you get to the skull unless you got an eye shot or something. With a stick, are you going to kill it that quick?
There's
no way. Most things die from bleeding. Ancient battles, we have records by the old doctors back in the day when people were wearing plate armor and stuff. That they died,
cut and they bleed. And bleed.
Small nicks, but they kept fighting all day long. Their heart kept pumping, blood kept shooting out, and they didn't realize it because it wasn't a lethal wound.
Well,
they died from blood loss.
Well, I'd like to address the size of that bird point they used was way thinner, and I think that what's going to happen...
Oh, it could break. The bird point can break on a larger game.
Aren't there any sagas or anything from the Vikings that talk about?
Yes, they speak about a man who could shoot an arrow with no head on it, which means I don't even think they meant a point. They just meant flat through a piece of rawhide, a big heavy hide. Well, the reason that was amazing with him out without breaking it is it would have to be a pretty heavy shaft, a very strong bow, and he'd have to shoot it perfectly straight for it to punch through them.
Right, but if we're talking
light bow wouldn't do it, and it would take a perfect.
But if we're talking about a thin bird point on the end of a shaft.
If you hit rawhide with this would break.
It's going to
snap. If you hit a bone, it would break.
But if you use that bird point on a target that's tough, I'd say it might break shatter because of the power we're talking about.
This was not that thin, but something really thin. Yeah, I think you could break it.
Yeah, like this Obsidian.
Yeah, it's really thin. It would probably break, but it's razor sharp, so be careful with that one.
Sure. Well.
Oh, may I add that they were saying it wasn't worth the time to make it, but professionals who make these nowadays and make very good arrowheads, their record's about 6.5 minutes just creating the head.
That's
6.5 minutes, and it takes at least about 3 minutes.
I think Jamie Heineman did his in how long? Like a couple of hours?
Oh no, I think he took less than an hour to create a few.
Right, but the point is that the length of time is not 10 times more if you're an expert and you can do it all day. And our ancestors did do it all day, every day. Well, let's go outside and let's do some damage.
Sure, let's see what happens.
Action.
Alright, we're going to try our sharpened stick here. And we're going to shoot through here with a full draw and see what it does. Alright, let's see what we got here. It went clean through, but as I predicted in our hypothesis, we don't have any blood loss. We've got a seal. Meaning that no matter what happens here, it's not leaking. We've got it sealed up perfectly, just if you were to pull the air out and stick a cloth in.
Right, like you were saying about animals not having opposable thumbs or anything, yeah.
These, I guess unless you're hunting great apes or something like that. I don't think you hunted those for food. But they can't pull this out. So what we're looking at, that was a full draw shot from this. If I go to pull this out in a body, it would be a lot tighter. The muscle would be tightened, everything else. You have to be able to pull this out. If it doesn't go clean through, see how I'm pulling? We're still not leaking. I'm pulling, we're not leaking.
Still no loss of blood pressure at all. Yeah, no loss of pressure.
The worst thing to do, guys, let's say if you got shot with something like this and you're still alive, don't just yank it out. Because if you just yank it out, that is the problem. Animal can't do that though. So for hunting, you have to find another way. This is not the right way to kill an animal.
Oh man, that's awesome. I didn't expect that result, did you?
No, but it seems like this heavier head goes clean through better than the stick arrows.
Oh, no doubt about it. We have this in the way here, I think. You know,
that's more than 10% in my opinion, but we have a lot heavier arrow. They were using a bird point.
That's true.
I think they need to test that theory.
I think we're using something that's got a few ounces more to it, and I think that does give it some more inertial force, like our hypothesis stated.
And in my hypothesis, I think it would shorten the range, but it would increase the initial up-close force tremendously.
No doubt about it. This is incredible.
And looky here, we have the animal.
Dude, look at it. It's bleeding.
It's bleeding out right here. See the blood? We could trail that. We got.
Oh, you track that easy.
Yeah, that'd be blood all over the ground. See how we're looking on the back side too here, where we got the actual. Oh yeah, see that opening? And as this animal's running, this would be doing this number. And each time it did that, you'd get more and more blood loss. Compared to a stick that just seals the hole, I don't know. I think that's what you need right there. Let's see what it does to the hide and the bottom.
Yeah!
No blood loss.
Exactly what we thought. I think you might have even damaged the point on it.
I think it did.
Let's track it. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this damaged the point going through the hide. I'm surprised it went through this old heavy hide.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
That's heavy hide, all right.
And as you see, it plugs the hole. We don't have a bunch of blood loss.
No, there's nothing coming out of there.
This means the animal will be running and running and running. You wouldn't have anything to trail. No. And he would eventually die.
You can't track that.
And if he didn't, it would fester out and you just didn't get the kill and your family went hungry. Oh, I cut it. That is beautiful. And you could see blood loss here. This was like if it was a graze shot into the side of the animal. Now, normally, you wouldn't have much of a kill, would you? But look at that. You've got blood just coming out. If that was a stick.
That's gory, and that's the Obsidian one. I wonder if any of the others would do that on a cutting shot.
Oh, definitely. If they have enough edge, it would definitely do that.
Look at that. Look at that slice.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Here are the facts. It took more than 10 times longer to make an arrow with an arrowhead on it than it did to make a sharpened stick. And yet, neither of them were any better than the other one as far as accuracy or penetration. This one went in this far, this one went in this far. I mean, you're dead either way. The arrow shafts are made out of wood, and if it's just a sharpened stick, it's gonna rot. And the only thing that would be around for us to look at are these arrowheads. So we don't really know which there were more of.
And here's one more argument in favor of ye olde arrowhead, and that is that this is technology. Back in the day, this puppy was Caveman bling.
Caveman bling, really?
Yeah, right. I don't think that's the only reason they had those, Jamie Heineman says that they don't understand. We can't say what anybody would have found because sticks would have rotted away. Okay, but
I don't think they were stupid, man. I think that they did them for a reason. It's because they wanted the blood loss. They didn't want to plug the hole with a cork and keep the blood in. Let the animal run for miles before it dies and not be able to find it with no blood trail and die of infection when you can't even feed yourself.
And I don't think penetration is really an issue. It's the blood loss again. I mean, I don't think they're coming up with the right
saying
solution.
Saying the equal lethality is totally wrong. That's totally wrong.
No, there is no equal lethality. Yeah, Mythbusters are busted.
It's busted. And this is my birthday, 11/11/71.